Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to this live. I attempted to do this earlier today, but lots of technical difficulties, lots of lags in the stream. And so when I saw what's happening, I decided that it would be good for me to come and to do this again. So if you are here on the live broadcast, I would love for you to tell me if you are hearing and seeing me clearly. This is me using the live broadcast directly on the YouTube platform. It's my first time doing this. And so it would be useful to know if it actually is working well and if you can see me and hear me well without any lags, right? Um, if you are new to this space, my name is Dana Hayes-Burke, also known as the Vision Builder. I am a business consultant, business strategist, vision strategist, and I work to help leaders and micro business owners in the Caribbean and in the Caribbean diaspora to build stronger, more profitable businesses through vision, business strategy, and people development. And so today, this particular live has been prompted by what I've been seeing happening around us economically, socially, geopolitically, especially how it relates to people in the Caribbean, business owners in the Caribbean. And I wanted to take the opportunity to address a pattern that I see happening quite frequently. And a pattern that I think we need to truly address if we are to build long term sustainable businesses. So tonight we are going to be talking about an idea, a thought that doesn't always come to the forefront, which is business continuity. And when it comes to business continuity, what are some things that you now need to think about? And business continuity is not a word that or statement that a lot of entrepreneurs truly use. You think about sales, you think about growth, you think about how to improve your performance, you think about how to gain more market share, you think about how to hit those targets, whether those targets are brand targets, those targets are product or service targets, those targets are money targets. These are the things that we think about. Um, but there are other things that we need to think about. And if you have been with me for some time, you will understand that one of the cornerstones of what I believe in when I deal with micro businesses and how I help business owners to build businesses is that I want you to take big business strategy and apply it to your small business. I believe that small businesses, especially in these times, have the potential to make big business bucks, but it requires that you start shifting the way that you think, you start shifting the way that you look at your business. You have to look at your business from the lens of a wider vision and a larger potential for your business. So, checking in with you again, because I'm using the direct stream from YouTube, I just want to know for sure, are you hearing me clearly? Are you seeing me clearly? Is there any lag or delay? If you are on live, just let me know in the chat so I can have a sense of how the stream is going while I continue. So, we're talking about business continuity, and tonight I'm going to share with you three big business approaches that I need you to think about applying in your small business. So, when we think about big business approaches, the first thing I want you to get is the context of why this is important. In 2025, there are some key things that you have to consider or you are possibly experiencing. First of all, we are all experiencing rising costs. Yes? Rising costs are happening right now. We also have a situation that we've noticed in Trinidad and Tobago in particular, I can speak to, that there are disruptions in the supply chain. And so we've had disruptions in the supply chain because of political shifts. We've had disruptions in the supply chain because of economic shifts. Recently, a particular very popular business in Trinidad was talking about the fact that there is a shortage in a particular commodity that is essential for her business. And she was speaking on TikTok and on Instagram about how she has to change everything in her business because this is so key and so integral to what she's doing. She has to figure out how to see to get her products to her customers because without it, basically it's not going to work, right? And when I saw that video, it triggered something in me, right? When it comes to bigger businesses, and good night everyone who's joining. When it comes to bigger businesses don't wait for calamities to happen, but they put things in place, and that's what is called business continuity planning. And bigger businesses have a lot more buffer than our small businesses, meaning that they have risk exposure, but their risk exposure isn't felt as immediately. They have greater financial assets. They may have greater physical assets that can buffer them. And whereas a smaller business, we are more susceptible to the changes that are happening, especially traditionally. However, that doesn't have to continue to remain the same because there are a lot of advantages that we can take in these times. But most of us as business owners are thinking today for today, tomorrow for tomorrow, and we're always thinking in the best case scenario, which is great. But anything I've learned about life is that best case scenario does not always happen. And so when I saw that video and I heard the overwhelm really, because she had now started doing this thing that was getting her maybe large influx of cash, but now this is happening. I felt for her, but I also realized the plight of many businesses. And so, me being the vision builder, and because I tell you all, I'm not building a corner parlor. No, this is Trinidad speak. So find your version of your corner shop. We have to start thinking differently. And I want your businesses to survive, to transcend you, to be something that even if you decide you don't want to do it anymore, you have something that's sellable. And so we have to start thinking about continuity. And in that scenario with that particular business owner, what also stood out to me is that this is not the first time there is a shortage of this thing. In the history of her business, there has been the shortage of this thing, but she has not put any plan in place for it. Now, the pandemic did something for us, and particularly for big businesses, that we as small business owners, as micro business owners, definitely need to start paying attention to. Believe me, every big business has a contingency plan in place for if anything like the what we experienced in 2020 happens again. They have activations within their business that allows them to make quick pivots, quick shifts, to continue to have income coming in, to continue to hold their market and business positioning. I'm asking you, those of you who are looking on live, or perhaps looking at the replay, what do you have in place? What do you have in place? So let's get into it. Let me know if you're ready to get into it. Drop a one in the live chat. Um, so far, I am really loving how this YouTube stream is working. It is so not complicated, and I think that you all are hearing me really well, and everything is going great, right? Hi, Natasha. So, Natasha, I know you were here earlier. I'm doing it over because the video that was posted before is lagging and had a whole bunch of glitches. So, we're doing it all over again, right? So, I'm really happy that you are here again. So, you might get something the second time, right? So, let's just talk about. Firstly, I want to just establish for you what business continuity is, and I need you to have this as a part of your vocabulary in your business. Business continuity means your ability to keep your business operating or recovering quickly when disruptions happen. And disruptions will always happen. We can have big disruptions like what we've experienced in the past. But when you're a small business, you also have small disruptions like illness, like family tragedy, um, like something unexpected and unexpected expenditure. All of these can be disruptions for you. And because you're a smaller business, because it may be led by a single person or a small team of individuals, these disruptions can have big consequences for your business. So, I am going to give you three things that I need you to look at, and I have three areas that I need you to start planning for, because just like big businesses plan for disruptions, you as a small business owner can plan for disruptions. All you need to do is start looking at things a little bit differently. So, what are three areas that you can start looking at so that you can be better prepared for emergencies and disruptions that may happen in your business? Well, leveraging the example that I gave of this business within Trinidad and Tobago, who is experiencing this disruption because of a supply chain issue, the first thing you need to start thinking about is you need to have a diversified supply chain. Diversified supply chains ensure that as a business, you are not held to ransom by any one person. Now, when I was learning business in the early days, we would often talk about larger businesses will often benefit from economies of scale. And part of that means that they are able to buy in bulk and to leverage that to get better deals, etc. Thankfully, everything has progressed so much more since those early days. I wouldn't tell you how long ago I was introduced to business, right? But since those early days, so much has progressed. And the way that we negotiate, the way that we find suppliers, the way that we purchase and get good deals with our purchases has changed. So no longer do you have to buy large sums in order to get good deals. What we have to learn to do is to negotiate. We gotta learn how to negotiate. And so what you look when you look at big businesses, what you see them doing is that they firstly never depend on one supplier or one distribution channel for their products or service, their production, because that one business or that one channel will have so much leverage over you that if something happens to them, what is going to happen to you? You shouldn't be so linked in that way that if something happens in this one supply chain, if that business shuts down, you are shut down. So we must ensure that we have at least, when it comes to the key things that you need for your business, the key supplies, the key services that are integral to your business, that you have at least two suppliers, at least two suppliers for those critical items. So this is what you now need to do as a micro business owner. Because the big businesses are not relying on one person, you should not also be relying on one supplier or one distribution channel. Build your network. Build your network and give yourself negotiating power. So, for key things that are critical to your business, have at least two suppliers. If this one is not available, you have the other one. If this one changes its pricing structure, you will not be held to ransom. You can negotiate with the other. You can negotiate because you have options and you are not held to ransom. Now, for those of you who have loyalty issues, you be saying to me, Dana, that's not loyalty. We gotta be loyal. Yeah, you could be loyal, but we also have to be strategic. If you're in a business right now that requires raw materials, and every time you're buying the raw materials, there's a price fluctuations. So I recall doing a workshop, and there was this person who is importing things from China. And every 3 months, when the person is importing from China, the price goes up by 30%, especially this year because of inflation. So if that's what's happening, then you want to start looking as well at keeping a bigger buffer of what you need, so that you don't have to constantly be dealing with that price gouging or that price adjustment every minute. And then if you have to deal with the price adjustment, then you could also look at making a cooperative situation with other businesses that need similar things to what you want or what you need in your process, so that you can think about buying a bigger bulk order. You could think about having joint storage, so that at the end of the day, you can find yourself safeguarded against what's going on in terms of the supply chain issue, right? So the first thing you want to do, and I'm just giving you ideas, you know your individual business. So you need to buffer up your supply chain issues. Please buffer up your supply chain issues, okay? Because you don't want to be holding on to a one link that might literally break your business because you have nothing else in place. Make sense? Let me know in the chat if you're following with that. The second thing a businesses do that I need you to start doing for continuity is to scenario plan. Scenario planning is so important. You see the what if simulation and worst case scenario planning is so necessary if you are to continue your business. You know what I can't deal with? I can't deal with every time something happens, you get hit for six. Caribbean too. We can't keep getting hit for six, especially if it has happened before. So you already know there's business continuity issues. Then you also want to ensure that, hey, I'm checking to see in the worst case scenario, what is it that I'm going to do to get through this situation? So big businesses create worst case scenarios for their businesses. And here's what they do. They then make a plan of action. So I'm telling you that very few businesses are going to be caught with their pants down if something like 2020 happens again, because it has happened, worse has happened. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create these scenarios where if X falls down, what am I going to do to keep the business going? If Y falls down, what am I going to do to keep the business going? In the same way, you need to come and say, what are my top 3 areas of risk? Is it my supply? Is it my utilities? Is it my access to customers? What is it that is my greatest risk exposure in the business? And then say to yourself, what if this goes wrong? When you ask yourself, what if it goes wrong? The next step is for you to create a plan just in case it goes wrong. And that plan tells you if X goes wrong, what are we going to do? Who are we going to call? Where are we going to get help? Where are we pulling resources from? Who are our lifelines in our business so that we can keep things going? Make sense? It's just like, have any of you all been in a fire drill? We've been in a fire drill before. If you've been in a fire drill, just drop an emoji there for me. Let me know that you've been in a fire drill. If you've been in a fire drill or any sort of evacuation plan, you need to have a similar kind of situation for your business. Yeah? Check in the chat to see. We need to have a similar kind of situation for our business. What is your plan? So have a contingency plan for your worst case scenario for your business. Worst case scenario, if you can't do something, who has access to what they need to have access to so that they can do it? And that brings me to my third point. Big businesses, as part of their continuity plan, tend to have redundancies and backups for their things. And so when it comes to micro businesses in particular, here's what we do. All of the information is in our head. And so I'm putting this in another context for you. If you have been a part of the Vision Builder community for some time, you will always hear me say, document your process, document your process, document your process. Part of documenting your process is ensuring that you have a continuity plan just in case for some reason you are not able to work in the business, just in case for some reason you are incapacitated, just in case for some reason the way that things are normally going, it can't go. So you want to ensure that you have a backup plan, a redundancy of things. Do you have a customer database? Is it in one place or is it still on your invoicing software? Do you have a printed copy of it? Do you have it on a hard drive just in case your computer goes down? Your recipes, your formulations, do you have these things backed up in a secure place? So if, for example, you're saving it on Google and Google goes down, because you know these platforms like to go down. They go down. What are you going to do? Where are you going to find it? All of your passwords. Do you have somebody in that contingency plan who knows where to find your passwords, who knows where to find your key contacts, who knows how to access your bank account? In case you are not able to do it, you can't give instructions, but bills still need to be paid. So these are things that you have to start thinking about. So backing up all of your records so you don't lose your most valuable database, which is your customers. Teaching somebody else how to do what you do, or at least the steps to go through in order to continue what you're doing. Because trust me, if you are incapacitated, you want your business to keep going. And trust me as well, let me just say to you, full disclosure, I don't have all of these things in place as well. So even looking on, I am reminded that I now need to go and have a documented space for some extra things, so that if something is to happen in my business, I can say, here, go ahead, keep it going, right? So you have to start thinking about that. You need to have both digital and printed copies of the essential things for your business. This is what I need you to start thinking about as a micro business owner, because man, we are in a volatile time. We are in a volatile time. But volatility does not mean that your business needs to stop. Volatility does not mean that your business is over. You see, that's long time thing. And that's long time thinking. That as soon as something shifts and as soon as something changes, we need to give up on our businesses. Yeah, that's a long time thing. Now we have what we need to actually create a business that could continue even when things go down. So this is an encouragement to you, to as you end 2025, to start putting things in place, because what we want to stop from happening is when I get sick, I can't do anything. When something, there are emergencies that will happen, and disasters and disruptions that will happen that we really have no control over. Like, for example, what's going on in Jamaica right now, right? No control over it. Those are large scale things. But you know what happens even if you deal with a large scale thing? If you have everything documented, if you have everything backed up, if you have a plan, you can rebuild more easily. You can go again more easily. And that's what we want. So going into 2026, here's what I don't want to have happen. No longer can it be business has to shut down because we got the flu. No longer should it be that our regular supply chain is closed and we don't have a backup plan. We don't even have a list of other places that we can get other things. No longer should it be that, hey, here's what's going on. This has gone up in price and we don't know where to look to get an alternative locally. No longer should it be that it's we can't order from overseas. So because that's the one thing we're making up with our product, we haven't looked for an alternative locally. We have to start thinking strategically about how to continue our business when all of the external elements change. And we want to think strategically as well, so that we know what we may have to pause and we will know what we will have to push, especially as you've built out your full and complete business model. So I'm going to wrap up with this because I'm happy that I was able to do over this live and I think everything is working well. Here's what I'm going to wrap up with. Let business continuity be a part of the language of your business, and understand that it is not only for big businesses, it's not only for those $1 million businesses, it's for all businesses. And it is not about size, it's about being prepared. So, as you listen to what I've said, choose your one thing that you're going to start off with. Choose your one action, whether it's to back up something, whether it's to have a plan, whether it's to find one additional supplier. But the goal is that as we go into 2026, disruptions that may happen around us will have a smaller impact on our business, a lesser and lesser impact on our businesses, because we are prepared. So I'm going to pause here now as we wrap up. And do you have any questions or comments to me? Please drop them in the chat. Let me know how this live stream worked on your side. Uh, very, very happy that I was able to do this over. Very happy that we're seeming to get a clean recording. But I really want to hear from you all. I really want to hear what your thoughts are. I really want to hear what stood out to you. And here's what I need you to do for me. The internet is full of a lot of things, a lot of information, not a lot of information for our people in the Caribbean. I need you all to share this video. I need you all to subscribe to the channel because I really would like that we have more of the right information out here to help business owners in the Caribbean and in the Caribbean diaspora. So, just looking at the chats, just to see what comments you may have, what your thoughts are, if you have any questions for me as we wrap up. I know there's usually a little delay, so just gonna hold on for a minute. And if I don't see anything, I will end this live broadcast and I will see you again next time in the month of November. In the month of November already. All right, so I don't think I'm seeing anything. So, again, thank you guys so much for joining in. And please remember to share this video with others. Okay, have a wonderful night. Have a good week. Bye bye.